Can I extend our sincere apologies to the Minister who complains that he has not yet received enough praise from the Labor opposition? Our sincere apologies. Can I say to the Minister that when praise has been deserving, it's been received. But with 1 million Australians out of work and thousands of businesses closing their doors, with Australians not knowing whether they're going to have a job at the end of the year, what this country needs is not a cheer squad. It needs a parliament, it needs an opposition, it needs a plan for the future, and it has none of this. What this country needs is competent administration. It requires open and transparent government, and it requires a vision for the future. But instead of competent administration, too often we find a good idea poorly implemented. I refer, of course, to the JobKeeper arrangement. Or we find ourselves with a bad idea put in centre place for a national recovery project. I refer, of course, to the superannuation early access scheme. And instead of open and transparent government, we have a Prime Minister who closes down Parliament. What is he hiding for? What is he hiding for? Instead of a vision for the future, what we find is the same old ideas like yesterday's dinner reheated in the microwave of policy. Competent administration, competent implementation. Deputy Speaker, we sat there with genuine excitement when the Prime Minister promised Australians they were going to receive free childcare, only to have that excitement replaced by disappointment when we discovered instead of free childcare, we were going to have thousands of childcare centres that had their income cut. And thousands of Australians, at a time when 1 million Australians are out of work, Australians trying to get back to the workplace, they couldn't do it because they couldn't get their kids into a childcare centre. This is a cruel hoax. This isn't free childcare. This is a free ride for the Prime Minister. The JobKeeper scheme, a genuinely good idea, one that we suggested to the government. But sadly, Deputy Speaker, some jobs apparently are not worth keeping. Because if you're one of the hundreds of thousands of Australians who are working in serial, casual employment with multiple employers, perhaps you're in the entertainment and arts industry, perhaps in the hospitality industry, Deputy Speaker, then clearly to this government your job is not worth keeping. You're a seeker, not a keeper. Well, Deputy Speaker, we think those Australians deserve more than this. Deputy Speaker, the only thing worse than ignoring a vast number of Australians is to say, we've actually got worse plans for you in the future. I ask you to consider the situation of those thousands and thousands of young Australians, the women, the workers who are in the service industries who have been in the front row of those industries who have been shut down. This government says that in the future they want to see more flexibility in our labour market. We have never seen more flexibility in our labour market, and it has been the women, it has been the young people who've been the shock absorbers. No, not the shock absorbers, they've been the bumper bar as this economy grinds to a halt. And what does this government say they have to look forward to? Cuts to penalty rates, cut to overtime arrangements, changes to their annual leave, their superannuation arrangements. Deputy Speaker, that's what these workers have got to look forward. And at a time when the Prime Minister says we need to give Australians more confidence to get back to work and to be more entrepreneurial, he's saying to hundreds of thousands of Australians, be confident, but you can't be confident in the amount of money that you're going to be able to take home next year because we've got industrial relations changes in front of you. Deputy Speaker, what this country needs at the moment is not a cheer squad. It needs a plan for the future. It needs competent administration, and it needs a parliament to be open so that we can put the spotlight on the failures of this government. And yes, praise it when it gets it wrong, when it gets it right. Yes, praise it when it gets it right. But our job is to ensure that the Australian people get the government and the parliament they
Members,
deserve.
time has expired.